everyone, and welcome to EduShare. This is the podcast where I speak to educators from around the world about one thing that works in the classroom. And today I'm excited to be joined by Gregg Bottrill and Shada Bottrill, and we're talking about play and how we can bring joy into the classroom. As always, I like to start with some quick fire questions. So Gregg and Shada, what are you reading at the moment?
So, hi, Carl, by the way. Yeah, good to have you. Yeah, thanks for inviting us. Good to see you again. So I'm currently reading A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. It's a killer. But yes, it's quite dense and I wish I'd never started it. It's an amazing book, but it's like testing my patience somewhat. I thought I was trying to be clever by reading it, but yeah, it's proving quite tricky.
I'm currently reading Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, because I've been needing to feel the fear and do it anyway. But yeah.
I love that. Okay, what sort of is that in terms of sort of professionally feeling the fear and
Oh, it's about just in life, like taking risk and trying new things and coming out of your comfort zone and not being afraid of yourself. Sometimes we hold ourselves back or we self-sabotage or we know we need to do something, but if it feels like, you don't have the self-belief, you kind of shy away from doing it.
yeah.
And yeah, I feel like it's helping me massively. So, isn't it? Yeah, I'm always
It's a really
talking
good
about the book. So yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. And you're never ready to do something. You just have to start. So it's really helped me in that sense.
Yes, love that message. Your favorite lunchtime meal at school?
Oh,
Now I get to eat. I get to eat school dinner still because I go into schools all over the world. I'm like a little bit of a school dinner Ofsted. My favourite though used to be the pudding.
Mine's sprinkle cake.
Yeah, sprinkle cake. There you go. There you go.
It's not a meal, but one I will say, when we came to your school in Bangkok, oh my goodness, they did the best Thai green curry. I was like, this is a like Michelin type food in a school. So that was my favourite. But if bringing it back to childhood, it's sprinkle cake with custard.
Sprinkle cake.
Yeah, we are very blessed with the school dinners that we have at my school.
I was so looking forward to lunch every day.
The only reason we came.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that we are missing is like a really good like school dessert, and there's no custard. So I miss that. And the best part of the day in school?
Being with the children, playing with the children. That is where I just come alive. It's my favorite thing. I just love children. I love playing. I'm very playful. Greg calls me the play grenade. That's what I love, playing with the children. That's my favorite part.
I was when I was teaching, I definitely liked the anticipation of the children coming in. There was something, I don't know, like the energy of it and that expectation that the day was about to begin. I used to really love that and just welcoming families and what have you, and just catching up on news. That was always, I used to find it quite a powerful part of the day. It probably all went downhill after then, but the start.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes, I really love that part as well, especially as part of my role now. We spend time on the playground, as you say, welcoming the families in and saying good morning to the students. Yes. And I love, especially on a Monday, when students have been away for the weekend, and if they've done something really exciting or something they want to share, and they bounce through the school gates and they've got some news or they've seen something, that's a joyful moment.
Yeah, no, it is cool.
People watching the show will know your work, Gregg and Shada, and we've worked together professionally here at Harrow Bangkok in the past. Can you briefly tell us and introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about the work that you're currently doing?
Sure. Currently, I guess I'm continuing to spread the message around play, childhood, and the importance of adults embracing play. But along the way, My fourth book is coming out. It's going to be a digital version, but it's called Inner Child-Led Pedagogy, and it's all about how the most important person in the room is the inner child of the adult who stands within it. So all the children, of course, are important. No one would argue, but the most important is the inner child of the adult in the room. And I'm hoping it's going to be something very empowering, which hopefully comes out in April. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on at the minute, and yeah, really loving exploring that concept.
Fab. Shada?
Yeah, hi. So I'm a nanny. I've been a nanny for 22 years. Prior to that, I started my career as a dance and drama teacher. And I am currently working on a training program that can work alongside when Greg goes internationally for teachers, not for teachers, sorry, for parents and nannies, to help kind of help with children with independence and play and co-playing, and also how teachers and nannies can work together for the betterment of the child. So I'm currently working on a training that I'm going to bring abroad with alongside Greg, and I'm really excited because it's going to be amazing.
That sounds really interesting. Both of those projects do. I'm really interested in how, yeah, we might get teachers to unlock that inner child. And the work alongside nannies, I can see that being so important, especially in international setting. We've had many conversations at school before about how we engage our nannies and that relationship that they have with the students, because they play such a key part in that child's development as well, and encouraging the independence. We see you, I mean, you'll see it as well, I'm sure. So many of the nannies sort of like carrying the children's bags in for them in the morning, sort of that spoon feeding potential too much.
Make them way and make them British and make them Jamaican all together. And we're going to help with, supporting the nannies, and educating them, because a lot of it is around education of why these things are important, like you said, child development. So, and the parents as well, so the parents and the nannies can understand the teacher's role a bit more, and then also how they can also support the learning at home. So that's what I'm really working on at the moment. Super excited.
Thank you. They sound like really, really interesting projects. What is something about play that adults often misunderstand in early childhood?
Good.
No, you go first.
He always looks at me like
you go first.
I would love you to
Oh,
go first.
okay. So the big one for me, I guess, is that play is learning. So often it's not. Adults often think it's like the relief from learning, as in you've come and you've worked with an adult, or you've done your work, and then play is the reward for that work. So somehow like play has to be earned. And I think that's probably one of the biggest kind of misunderstandings, if you like, or misconceptions, because actually play is a right. I would argue play is who you are. It's in your DNA.
Yeah,
you can't take it out of children, and also as adults you can't take it out of yourself. So again, it's that thing of trying to show adults that actually play is a critical, it's not even just about child development, it's absolutely critical to the identity of who you actually are. So I think that's that's one of the biggest things that I see when I go, into settings and schools, is trying to kind of see how we can embrace play more, but of course not let go of high standards and expectations, ambitions for children. And I don't believe you have to do that if you offer play up more for children. I still believe you can do both.
Yeah. For me, I would say biggest is overthinking play. I think sometimes teachers overthink it, and I think something that could really help them is just to tap into their own inner child and remember, how did they like to play as a child? What did they like to do? And then whatever that was, share that joy with the children, and then play will just become so much easier for them. Sometimes adults overthink play, or they feel when they are playing with children, they need to take over the play. Take the child's lead. Take the child's lead and follow what the child is doing, and it will just come to you. Children are so magical. Like, how can you not anyway? But yeah, I think that's the biggest misconception for me.
I think early years teachers get this get this so well. And sort of when I did my university training, it was a primary specialism, and it's not part of the conversation. But it's not until I really started exploring early years and working with our early years teacher where I think I truly understood the importance of play. I think there's a missing element there somewhere that for teacher training and actually, yeah, what does that look like? What is a moment in the earliest setting that really made you smile or pause to reflect recently?
So we were in a school together in Hull, and it's just one of my favorite memories. I walked into the classroom, and there was this little black girl there that just was mesmerized by my presence. And obviously, in the school, there wasn't that much representation, but the first thing she did was just ran over to me and held my hand and said, "Can I play with you?" And I said, "Absolutely." And then during the play, she kept saying, "You look like my mom. We got the same hair." Like she just kept finding like these comparisons. It was so cute. And she didn't leave my side for the whole 45 minutes we were outside. And that's a memory that a very fond memory I have. And since then, the teachers got in touch and said, she still talks about you. She still asks us when you're coming back. And, I feel like just to go in for 45 minutes and make that impact in play that a child can still remember a year later, for me, that was very heartwarming.
Yeah, that was really powerful, wasn't
Yeah,
it? That was really
quite
powerful.
emotional, actually.
I mean, I guess I'm going to spend a lot of time in schools and settings, all over the world, and got many. Particularly, I think one of my favourites is when I go into Key Stage 2 and explore play projects with children. One not so long ago was actually with a Year 6 class where I explored play projects with them, and one of the children who unfortunately in their school was kind of finding life very difficult at that moment. But he made a lemonade factory as part of his play project, and in that moment, you could just see that he realised he was special. I think quite a lot of the narrative around him at that point was unfortunately that he was difficult and but in that moment you could see within him, just in his eyes, he was brought to life by the fact that he had autonomy in what he was doing, and he was desperate to bring his play project alive through the writing that they were doing. So yeah, that was a really that was about a year and a half ago, and it's a moment that's really stuck with me that in a way showed me even more powerfully that childhood doesn't end at 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are both examples of the impacts as well that you both have when you go into schools. I've seen that firsthand as well. I'm sure your teachers will be delighted whenever you go in and share some of your magic. What's one playful approach that really works in supporting learning and development in the classroom?
You always give me.
Okay, so so you want to go first? Okay. Um, very equal in this marriage, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Um, so I think one of the things that for me is my Adventure Island approach, which is this idea of raising a make-believe world out of the ground. I've just done it as an action research project in inner city Nottingham here in the UK with 50. It's one of the highest, what should I say, the highest wards of deprivation in the UK. And as part of that, the 50 schools and settings immersed in Adventure Island, and it led, in amongst other things that the schools were doing, of course, but it contributed to an uplift of around about 10% in GLD for all the for I think almost all the schools that took part in that action research with Adventure Island. It led to that uplift, and lots of schools fed back how, particularly for the boys, it led to a much greater connection with learning, to picking up the pen, to the unlocking of imagination. So that's something for me personally. It's been really good to kind of the University of Nottingham, Trent Uni did an action research project through it. So that's something that I'm really strongly advocating at the moment. On top of stuff like Drawing Club, which of course has hopefully an impact. But yeah, it's Adventure Island for me. I love doing it with children.
Amazing.
Me, I'm very led by my inner child. I think I've mentioned that before, but I am very playful as an adult in general, and I always try my best to share that joy with the children. So anytime I, go into a household or go into a school, it's really important that I share what I love with the children. And I think if a lot of teachers could take that approach, even if it's one thing that they can start with, their child, it naturally will develop that play even further. But just knowing that, what am I going to share with the children today? What joy am I going to share with them today? And that's really helped me, to help with the development.
You're very powerful at that, aren't you? No, but you are. But because but as we know, don't we? When you're teaching, there's a lot of pressures and there's a lot of intensity. It can be an intense thing to do. But what Shada hopefully does, when we go in, we've both you and I have seen this with our own eyes, is actually share how even in those small moments, joy can be a real driver and motivation for children, and it hasn't necessarily it can't be all day because you've got to do X, Y, and Z. But in those moments, you can find those little glimmers of joy where the adult unlocks themselves and the children respond very powerfully. And you're incredible at doing that. You really are.
I believe it's a gift.
It is. It is a gift. It is a massive, basically. So there you go. No, it is. We've both seen it. It's really powerful.
Absolutely. From both of you, actually, that being able to unlock the joy and the way that you both speak about that with staff too, is that were one of the big takeaways for me from your visit to Bangkok. And I still remember and think about that now.
Yes. We still think about it. We still talk about it.
Yeah. We'll get you back to Bangkok at some point. Yeah, and that's great. That's really insightful so far. I've got one more question for you. If an early years teacher wanted to protect more time and space for play, what is one thing that they can do tomorrow?
One thing that I'm very keen on exploring is how can we look at an entire day, like a rhythm of a day, and how can we look at what we have to do and then what choices we do have and try and find, even if it's just 5 minutes within what we have to do, that we can take 5 minutes of that and liberate it for something joyous. So, for example, here in the UK, there's a big drive on handwriting. It's kind of sort of swamped early childhood a little bit, and there's a lot of time being kind of sort of hammered on handwriting. My thing is very much with children is it's not necessarily the skill, it's the experience of the skill. So I'm very much into how can you turn that handwriting into something joyous by taking a pinch of that time and showing children. So my example is turning handwriting into super codes. So when let's say you're writing letter S, you write it beautifully or whatever phrase you want to use with children, and then something all happens to us. So for example, we turn into electric chickens, we all walk into a wall or what have you. Yeah, so the children begin to see that there's actually a reason, not just to please the teacher or be better at something, which is lovely, of course it is, but we're talking about 4 or 5 year olds, and I do believe they want to feel joy. So by pinching that tiny little bit of time, you can turn something that there is a danger that it turns a bit like I'm doing handwriting for the teacher, especially when you're little. Yeah, to now it's something that, when we do it, we all turn into a jacket potato or whatever. Whether do the children in Thailand they get to eat jacket potatoes, Kyle? Probably not. Culturally, that might not work, but maybe it's a learning point. Who knows? You spend the rest of the project on jacket potatoes. There you go.
I actually found somewhere recently that delivers like a takeaway delivery for jacket potatoes, and it was decent. So it's a thing.
That's good business. For me,
but the message stands. Yes.
What would I say? So for me, I would say learn the children's personalities, learn their likes, learn about what would spark the joy in the children in your classroom, and lead with that. That's what I would say. I think an example, I think it was when we were in Bangkok with you, was I was outside with the children. It was like 30 of them playing hide and seek with me at one point, because I saw that they were really into hiding things and finding things. So I had observed that in their play, and I thought, okay, when I go outside, I'm going to use their interest to spark playing with them. And it worked, because I had 30 children in the playground, all of them. They didn't want to play anywhere else. They were just like, it's kind of who said that it was like the Pied Piper. Hilarious. So yeah, just learning the interests of the children and leading with that when it comes to play.
Yeah, leading with the interests of the children.
Example, what happens then is when you do that as an adult, I believe children are more likely to want to come and do handwriting with you. Do you see what I mean? So the two actually are, if children see the joy that you listen to the children and you delight in their joy, me personally, I believe it's about the adult proving their value to the children, not the other way around.
But we had 30 children mark making in the playground, because I had like a little post-it notes with me, and I had little pencils and post-it notes, and I was just like, if you want me to do something, then you need to do the code. And then they were like fighting for the piece of paper to mark make. And then I was like, every time they would give me a code, I had to put it in my shoe or stick it on my head. They thought that was funny. And then they were all writing to the point where I ran out of paper. So
it's that cycle, isn't it? Yeah. It's almost like we've gone full circle in this whole conversation about the separation from learning and playing. Actually, when you allow them to hold hands, to my mind, it actually not only deepens the learning, but it deepens the connection between the adult and the children. And then almost the adult becomes home, in inverted commas, for the children, and then their nervous system is more relaxed. And if your nervous system is in that more open, you're more open then to maybe some of the things that we have to do, as in handwriting or whatever, which is still a gift, by the way. Handwriting is alchemy, but it's through that relationship that you can create with your children that empowers that. That's what I believe.
As you say, we've gone almost full circle there as well. I'm just bringing it back to the joy as well. Just how you described handwriting with children there and using codes, and then it's going to turn somebody into a super chicken or whatever that might be. That is exciting. I mean, I want to come and do handwriting if that's what's going to happen. Like, you've got me. I'm hooked.
You throw your chicken, don't you, Carl? We're all to hear. Electric chickens.
Yeah, but children would love that. Like, they are going to come and want to come and join in and play.
Yeah, it's about holding hands. And again, with Shada's example, it's very much about, can I say this about you? Yeah, okay.
I don't know what you're going to share.
But Shada's someone who has absolutely unlocked their inner child. And I do believe children see that in adults, and they find that very magnetic. And they know that in the presence of that person, not only are they going to feel unconditionally loved, which is really critical for all children, but they also know or anticipating something magical happening. Yeah, and that the adult's got something to give them, and it's not just giving them learning, it's actually learning as a gift that they can then go and explore for themselves. So it's that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, companionship. Yeah, absolutely. The teacher companion, the loving companion.
Yeah, relationships are central to everything that we do in schools. And yeah,
we chatted Carl's ear off about our joy for play.
No, that's so insightful and thoughtful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today. Really great chatting to you both. Congratulations as well on getting married. That is fantastic news.
Yeah, that's ace. We're still in the honeymoon period.
Our whole relationship is the honeymoon period.